Welcome to the Healing Hour. I am your host, Athena Rodriguez, and we'll be having some healing conversations. And welcome to this episode of the Healing Hour. Today we have a beautiful guest, Dajah Barkley, who is the co-founder of the Health Lounge. And I always let my guests introduce themselves.
Okay.
So,
Well, hello everyone. I'm Dajah Barkley. I am co-founder of the Health Lounge. I'm a cosmetic and aesthetic nurse here in Houston, Texas, but I'm from a small southern town, Washington, North Carolina. But I've brought a little southern charm to the big city of Houston, Texas.
we love it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming.
Of course.
So Dajah is in the beauty industry, obviously.
Obviously.
She's founded her very own health med spa, right?
Correct.
And so for this episode, we're just gonna dive deep.
Let's kiki.
I love my favorite part about being a girl, right, is being pretty.
Period. That's a statement. It's so much more than just looks. People think about it, they like, oh, it's so shallow, but it's like, it's really not. That means you get up every day and you take time and you put an effort to what you look like. That's an extra 30, 40 minutes that you take to get dressed. And I mean, it's
right.
worth it.
So a lot of people aren't obsessed with aesthetics like I am. They don't really know what a nurse injector is. They're probably thinking you're like a hospice nurse or something.
No facts.
So what do nurse injectors do?
Yes. So I think I have a really interesting just take overall when it comes down to just being an aesthetic and cosmetic nurse, right? So I'm a registered nurse. I have my bachelor's degree in science of nursing. I'm from the North Carolina State University. Say the less, I had some years in management, but what a cosmetic nurse is, I've kind of deemed the term cosmetic nurse. It's really, some people you see more of it like aesthetic nurse. So I guess I'll kind of give an explanation of what aesthetic nurse is. It's a nurse who specializes in Botox and fillers. So neurotoxins, which can be different forms of neurotoxins, but there are also fillers. So those different things are used to overall enhance your aesthetic, whether that's doing something as like minimizing the fine lines and softening the wrinkles, or adding filler in certain places to add definition, to contour. The nursing part comes in because it's an aesthetic medicine. It's medicine at the end of the day. Neurotoxins, they're considered a medicine. Fillers are considered a medicine. You have to have a medical director. There are things we have to have degrees. There are things you have to do to be able to even, do these things. That's where the nurse part comes in. For me, I love cosmetics. I love just everything about cosmetics, from perfume to makeup to hair stuff. Like I just love it all. So I kind of deem the term like cosmetic nurse because I feel like, yes, aesthetic is cool, but like I love the cosmetic portion of it because I think it goes hand in hand also with your skincare. Your skincare, your fillers, everything in between. And I put a lot of emphasis also though on the wellness part of it because we do vitamin infusions. We do offer weight loss programs. We offer the Health Lounge just a space of healing. So we give each other the opportunity to really like talk and chat and talk about things that you may feel insecure about. And that's another reason, kind of place where that nurse aspect comes in because I'm really talking to you. I'm really healing from the inside out. So
we love to heal from the inside out on this show.
Healing from the inside out.
That's what we came for. That's what we came for. Yes. So I know, you said about counseling, your clients as well. So I feel like clearly, well, first of all, like, let's reverse to how big of an industry this is right now.
Oh my gosh.
I love a good female-dominated industry.
I
love a good female-dominated industry.
We're eating the world alive. And it's... yes.
I love seeing women all about their money
because you have to have money to. It's an expensive sport. I tell my clients it's an expensive sport. It's an investment, but it's in honestly your health and well-being just overall though. So it's an investment worth making.
I feel like in recent years, like it's become a lot less taboo, even though I still feel like it is a bit taboo. Especially like in the Black community. Yes. I feel like there's this big stigma of Botox. When they think Botox, they're thinking like middle-aged, pool, like, lady wrinkled up by the pool, tight-faced, like Beverly Hills mom.
Yes.
So how do you like break down those like misconceptions about Botox?
So I'm really big on education. When I have my clients come in, 9 times out of 10, my clients are first timers. It's their first time ever doing anything, but they know they want to do something. They just don't know what they want to do. So I educate. Usually make my slots about 2 hours. I spend at least the first 30, 40 minutes just educating, just explaining to them what the differences are between the different products, but then also how it can help them and how it takes more than just a little Botox and a little fillers to get to what you just described there.
Right.
It's not that simple. So I do a lot of education, a lot of pouring in, and I show a lot of examples and how things can be done from a very small but tasteful and very tactful way, like just corrected detail, if that makes any sense, and really take my time and just put the artistry in it too. So I've spent a lot of educating, and after I do that, they kind of like soften up a little bit. And I answer any of the questions, and I also explain to them that you do not have to do anything today. If you are beautiful the way God created you, and if you decide to walk out of here today and not do anything, you're still beautiful. It's not going to change anything. But if you do decide to do them, let's be educated on why you should do this. We know what it is that you want to achieve and how we can achieve that. And let's just make sure that you know that you're making the right decision and take your time making a decision. You don't have to spend this 2 hours and then do 5 or 10 different things, right. So I think that makes them a lot more comfortable before they either, 9 times out of 10, they just do the service. They're like, I trust you because I'm honest.
Right.
Yeah, I'm honest the whole time. So
I feel like there's just like such a negative connotation on like the beauty industry. Like I feel like a lot of people would say anything beauty related, like the hypocrisy, like if you were beautiful, then why would you do this to your skin? I'm a big believer of enhancing yourself. Like I feel like a big pushback, because like for transparency purposes, you know what I'm saying?
We
like
love a transparent
I was born cute, pretty beautiful, all that self-esteem on 10, thanks to my mom. But I one thing that I saw about like me and my figure, I wanted my boobs done. Yeah. I wanted my boobs done. So
they look good.
Thank you. Yes. I'm like, my babies are 3 now. So now they're toddlers.
Love that for you. And I think that's okay. Like people, it's what you want to do. It's what you want to do. It's the decisions that you want to make. And the things that make you feel comfortable. Everyone has insecurities. Everyone's insecurities are different. So the things that you're doing a lot of times is not necessarily for anyone else. You're doing those because it's for you. It doesn't mean that you necessarily hate what's going on. But let's just say that you're born with a cleft lip.
Right.
You can't. That's something that you may feel a little insecure about. That doesn't mean that you hate your lips. That doesn't mean that you hate that you were born or you hate the face that you were born with. That just means that, okay, I was born with a cleft lip. I have a little bit of scar tissue that just still maybe, is here. And I want to fix that. And something like fillers can help that. And I think that we kind of take away sometimes the medicine aspect of it. Like, yes, it's an artistry part of it, but there are also ways that you can use aesthetic medicine to really help.
Right.
Because, even down to like people that are, in a way, like let's just say abused, or they're in car accidents, or they have some type of physical trauma that's done to their face or to their body. Like fillers can be used to kind of balance those out. Like
the little Kim thing.
Exactly. Like she had, some traumatic experiences in her life, so everyone looks at her and they make fun of her, and they don't even know like that there's so much more that's actually under the surface. And I think that we have to just be a lot more cautious in how we talk to people and the things we say about people, whether they're celebrities or not, because we really don't know their back end story. And of course, she's not telling us everything that she's done, but we see that things are done, but it is not always what meets the eye. And I think that people have to really take the understanding to themselves and kind of focus on themselves a little bit more before they make all of these executive decisions for everyone else.
Yeah.
And why they shouldn't get them done. So I think that aesthetic medicine has a really nice place in this world, from a beauty aspect and also from the medicinal side of things. So I think that we just have to continue to educate people. That's why even when moments like this, we're letting people know, like, you can still be cute, you can still do the things that you want to do, you still can be confident in those things. That doesn't mean that it makes you insecure at all.
Exactly. So, like personally, like, with my thing was like we were talking about earlier, like, yes, like it wasn't a self-esteem thing for me whenever I got my procedures done. It was more so like, listen, everybody, even if you have a Ferrari, right? Even if you have a G-Wagon, right? Would you rather the G-Wagon or the G-Wagon with 4 Giotto rims? Exactly. For me, these are my rims.
Exactly.
But then in the beauty industry and just being a woman, period, you always have somebody telling you what to do with your look. Right. And so before I got them done, right, I used to always get made fun of, especially by guys. It was always by guys, like, oh, like my chest is bigger than yours.
Oh, okay.
I had 30 A's and they were flat. Like, I'll give them that. But give the bullies that. But then after I got them done, oh, they look super fake, and you were perfect the way you were. You messed up your body. It's like, okay, you never win when you're going off of what someone else thinks you should do with your appearance. So you might as well just do whatever you want with your own appearance, right?
Because you're the one that have to wake up with. You have to wake up with those every day. You are the one that have to wake up with those. Unless this is your husband, that's a different conversation. But you have to wake up with those every day. You have to wake up with the decision that, okay, do I want to do this or do I not? And I did it for me. You didn't do it because of someone else, and then you're living with someone else's decision. So I definitely think that people have to really find their place. Even with myself, like I always felt like I was a pretty girl. I love my face, but I promised myself just get into the industry that I'll take it slow, because I think that a lot of times the things that we've seen that have been done on people has been overdone, or you're going to someone who is maybe not as educated on your type of skin, or maybe what you're looking to have done, or the way your skin moves, or the different things like that, and they don't really tell you to stop, and they're more in it for the money, because some people are going to sell what they're going to sell. And I think that approach too is kind of where at the Health Lounge we really make a executive decision together. It's a collaboration. I tell all my clients, this is a journey. We have to get to know each other, because I know my clients that are going to come in and are going to say, I want 6 syringes, and I'm going to say, where are you going to put them? Where are you going to put them? And I would also ask, well, why do you want these 6 syringes? Like, what is it that you don't like, or what is it that you're trying to correct or trying to fix? And like, what is it and why? And then that from there will allow me to really be able to make the decision to say, okay, this is something that you should do. Or this is maybe something that you should wait. If you don't like the way that you wake up in the morning because of, you have these bags under your eyes that you wake up in the morning, what does your sleep like? Are you sleeping? I want to know the root cause of the problem. I'm not just here to just treat always the symptom for you. Like, if you have bags under your eyes, sometimes it's genetics. Sometimes you're born with them. Yeah. But sometimes it is because of the lack of sleep. So what can we do? I mean, I'm not a doctor, so I can't diagnose and give you medications and things of that sort. But I can say, well, have you tried turning your sound machine on? Or have you tried maybe turning your phone off a couple hours before? Or have you tried melatonin? Right. Have you tried these different things? Or even down to like maybe some natural beauty remedies. Have you tried waking up in the morning and using your little ice roller? Have you tried taking a piece of ice out your freezer and just rolling? Like, it's little things sometimes that we try to find the root cause of the problem before I say, yes, let's do 6 syringes.
And that's why it's so important to find someone you can actually trust. Like, I know like the recent trend has been to find somebody overseas to do it real, like chop shops, what they call them. Do them real fast and do them real cheap. Right. And so even with my girls, I stayed local. I went to Dr. Lou. Shout out Dr. Lou. Okay, yes. And I made a really good relationship with the office. Right. And so every time I would come in, everybody was welcoming, friendly. To this day, like, my surgeon still comments on my photos and stuff. That's awesome. So it's like, I had to build that trust to feel like, okay, now I feel like I'm ready to get my procedure done. Right. Whereas people get desperate, and every time you do something out of being desperate, then it never turns out the right way. No. Like, when you want things just done quick, and then that's how you end up, and rest their souls. But there's a lot of women that don't make it out of that surgery table, or that get these infections because they're not looking towards the right providers who have the right conversations with them. Right. And then a lot of times they're doing it for, I don't want to say the wrong reasons. I think that kind of goes back to what we were just talking about earlier. But I think that, like I said, it's a quick fix. Yeah, quick. It's a quick fix. And cheap. Quick and cheap. On a budget. Yeah, on a budget. I even tell my clients, like, they come in and they have a certain budget. I say, I'll ask them what their budget is for the day. And if they can't afford it, I'll say, well, I think that this is something that maybe we should try. Maybe we should try the facial route. There are other options. You don't just have to go jump into the big guns. So I think that it really comes down to, like, why are you doing it? It does have a lot of self to do. And I think that's why when you are trying to find a provider, or you're looking for someone to provide these services to you, whether it's surgery or whether you're looking for a nurse injector, you really want to make sure that they have a sense of understanding of who you are, and they want to know who you are. Because sometimes they're like, oh, let's
let's make that happen really fast. Like, let's push the transaction through and get it done. I think you really have to try to have a sense of wanting to know the person and talk to the person to really make a good decision for them.
Right. And I feel like another thing too is like, you can't ignore that gut feeling.
You can't
ignore it.
can't.
And I'm going back to like my experience too. It's like, originally, you know, because growing up, my mom had gotten hers done she went to the DR to get them done.
Okay.
And so growing up, that was always my thing. Like, okay, when I turn 18, I'm gonna go to DR because I know it's not expensive. But when it came down to it, and I was searching for the surgeon and found like the place it was like my gut was telling me like, stay local. I saw some places in Miami that were way cheaper than my surgeon, and I was like, something about it. My gut is telling me don't do that.
you pay for quality. You
get what you pay
honestly for. Get what you pay for, because then you start to think like, okay, well, why is it so cheap? Like,
there is
a reason why it's cheap, because a lot of times just even being in this industry, I say it's an expensive sport because everything is expensive. Your insurance is expensive. Your products are expensive. Your protocols, your procedures, just so many different things that go into it. So how are you doing this for this price? What are you cutting the corners on? So it's like you really it's you get what you pay for. You get what you pay for. It's good to think about those things. Take it into consideration.
Right. So even, you know, I browsed your page, of course, before, and I was like, wow, like you do a great job.
Thank
you.
You
do a great job. So one thing that I'm really like interested in is like I've been seeing this I don't think it's a new term, but it's a new term that I've picked up on, the facial balancing.
Yes.
What is that? And how do people
So I was like, let me just make sure this is okay.
Girl, I'm always in the camera fixing my little hair.
Facial balancing is it is a new term. A new term to me too. And I want to change the term. I've been talking to my clients so long about this and so much lately. I'm like, what can I change it to? I think that facial rejuvenation, facial enhancement, facial balancing, I do think is a part of that. But I think something along those lines is what we can kind of play it from that perspective, right? Because what facial balancing is, just as the coined term, is it's a combination of different cosmetic procedures. And that can be Botox, that can be fillers, but that also can be facial perspectives. That can be PDO threads. That can be just so many different things. It's a combination of those different things, but it's customized to the person. So no person is created equal. So that's why everybody does require a consultation. But it's just a combination of those different things, kind of nipping and tucking in certain areas to really bring together a symmetrical, just overall look, like a cohesive overall look from the top of the face to the bottom of the face, just all the way around you, just 360. You want just a cohesive look. That's what kind of where that balancing aspect comes in. But I do like to let my clients know, like, you'll never be 100% symmetrical. It does not work that way. That's kind of why I want to change the term. So if y'all have some ideas, let me know. I want to change the term because I do think that facial rejuvenation is kind of a better thing. A lot of clients come in and their face is not necessarily balanced. And I say balanced for the simple fact that, like, you have clients that come in and they say, I want to get my lips done, right?
Yeah.
But they have a tiny little nose.
Oh.
And they have a tiny little chin.
Oh, yeah.
So if we go big on the lips,
where the lips gonna go?
We need some more. We need more face.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
We need more face.
You're not. So I always tell my clients, like, okay, if we're gonna do lips, we can do lips, and lips can be done with a very natural and very tasteful way. But in the same token, we may need to add a little chin because that's gonna help balance it out. So when I look at you, I'm not just looking at your lips and then your chin disappears, and I'm like, now you look like this. Like, I don't want to.
Not like this.
No, like this. Like seriously, a chin makes so much more of a difference. Yeah. Because it just overall elongates your profile. So that's kind of where that balancing aspect comes in. It's really just creating that just symmetry, because it's the things I've seen.
I was screaming. I've always wondered that. Like, I think once I started seeing that more, I started looking at my face like, where am I?
That's why the term needs to be changed.
Maybe makeover be better.
Facial makeover. Community, we need to make the facial makeover. I like that.
Like a makeover.
We need to
fabulous thing. Something about being fabulous, girl. I don't know. Something.
I'm thinking on it. I'm really leaning towards like an enhancement or rejuvenation. Kind of is where I've been at, because I feel like that's what it really does. You see people and their little things, like I said, some people may have a little bit of their lips maybe, uneven, or you may have some dark circles in your eyes. Or as we age, we naturally just lose elasticity within our face. So it kind of causes sometimes like the face to droop a little bit. Or even like as the biggest thing now, especially lately with Ozempic on the rise.
Ozempic
on the
streets like crack. Let me tell you, girl.
Ozempic and coffee is what people have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
I saw one girl selling it on Instagram for half off out of the back of her damn trunk. I said, you have no shame.
Please don't go to her. I don't know where she got it from.
Usually $5.50. I got it for $3.30. Like, is that legal?
No, because you probably not. Probably not, because she should have it's so much that goes into starting these type of businesses. So if you see someone and they are selling out of trunk of their car, 9 out of 10, they brought it from China and it's no good, okay? And then you're probably going to end up in the hospital. Please don't do it. I just ask you, just please research your people, okay? Look up their medical license, because they all should have a medical license. They're selling anything.
Literally.
Oh my, that's crazy. Oh, gosh. Yes. Ozempic is a whole other topic. Oh my goodness. They're not.
And those poor diabetic people on their medicine. That's the worst part of this whole ordeal.
And I just think that everything has to be done in a tasteful and tactful way.
That way.
Because I do think that, and I'll be very transparent, and maybe this is a great time to share my journey. So I had a baby. My baby is 16 months.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. That's my sugar pudding. So with having a baby, just naturally, like, I was in college. I'm sample size. I was 2s. I was size 4. I was a tiny little woman. And, as you naturally age, your metabolism speeds up. Things change.
Right.
And from there, you gain weight. You have children. There are different things that kind of come in. And then your lifestyle plays a big factor. Like, you're always on the go. You're busy, entrepreneurs, mom. Things happen. So you do gain weight. So me, even within myself now, Ozempic itself is what they use for the diabetics. The diabetics have Ozempic. That's kind of been coined as like their thing. And I'll say that. But what's happening now is the pharmacies are making compounding solutions to these medications. So that's kind of where like the med spas kind of come in. So it's kind of like, you have like, let's use Benadryl. You have Benadryl. Benadryl is like the standard for allergy medications. And then you have the
off-brand
Benadryl. So that's kind of where the med spas, and the health lounge included, that's where we're legally able to administer these medications without necessarily the diagnosis of diabetes. Now, you still have to have a diagnosis of obesity. And then nowadays everybody's obese. They need to change the BMI scale. The BMI scale is trash.
Like, if you listen, can you believe it?
It's like they want everyone to wear size 2s. They want everyone to wear size 2s. It's ridiculous.
4'10", 130. Yeah, they put me off the scale.
It's crazy. We need to update that. Now, I mean, I can give y'all some ideas if y'all need help with trying to update the things, but I can help. So, now you have to have this diagnosis to be able to administer this medication, right? Of course, there's contraindications in their diagnosis, and there are things that you can't, if you have these diagnoses, you can't, necessarily take the medication, but it helps. It's hard losing weight. If you meet someone who is struggling to lose weight, it's hard. And I think that in the community, especially lately, you've seen more people, it's been accepted a little bit more, but you've seen a lot of people really talk bad about people on it, or they really, say bad things about it. But like, what's worse than not being able to run behind your child? I don't think we think about those things. Right. Like, what's worse, like you're trying to go up the steps and you're breathing hard, or what's worse when your blood pressure is high? And then you stroke out because your blood pressure is high. Like, what's worse than some of these things? Like, the medication is medicine. I'm really big into holistic health, right? I think that you can do things, you can take care of yourself in a way. You can use natural herbs and natural things like that to be able to take care of yourself. But then the same token, sometimes you need help. And I think it's okay to accept help.
Right.
And I think that the semaglutide and the tirzepatide and these compounding formulas are a way for us to get help. And I'll use it for myself as an example. After having the baby, I was struggling to lose weight. I was like, I've been 2 my whole life. Now I'm trying to jump into 10s. Like, what am I doing? So being able to take something like semaglutide, and then partner it now with a healthy lifestyle, because that's where the real work has to be done. When you're taking this medication, the medication, it a lot of times delays your gastric empty, and depends on what form of the compound you get. But it delays your gastric empty, kind of quiets that noise, that hunger noise, so you don't feel hungry as much, and you feel fuller longer. But with that and receiving that medication, you want to be able to make those lifestyle changes. So now that I'm not as hungry as much, maybe now it's time for me I can eat this salad, or I can eat this chicken breast and these broccolis, and I can feel full. And maybe that before this, I wasn't able to eat that and it made me feel full. So now I can make those healthier choices. Maybe now I'm hungry, it's 12 o'clock, but I'm not running just to try to grab the nearest burger. Now I can kind of stop and grab me a salad, or even like some nuts or fruits, and something that would not have made me feel as full. So, and then with that, you also going to start working out. But when you start to see that weight come off, you never want to be on a medication long term, no matter what it is. Your goal is never to be on long term. It's to help get your fix and get off of it. But now that you kind of see that weight start to fall off, it increases your confidence. You know, you can wear the back out dresses, and now you can wear the two pieces, and now you feel a lot more confident just in who you are, without having to struggle and live with being obese.
I feel like even in the fitness realm as well, like I also have like a supplement line.
Okay,
yes, and I used to train online. So when the biggest thing for me to get through to people who ask me for fitness advice and ask me for health advice is like a lot of new mommies, you have to kind of tell people like you have to find a new normal.
Right.
You have to find a new normal.
Oh my gracious, yes,
and so I had this talk with my mom actually, where my mom's she's been crushing her fitness goals lately. She's back in the gym, and before this, I asked her what her goal was. She was like, "My goal is to be 120 again." I said, "Girl, I'm 4'10", and I'm not 120. I'm 130. So you want to be skinnier than me, and you're like 5 inches taller than me?
Yeah.
Also, you've had 3 children since this time. Your hips don't even sit the same as they did. No, well, I used to be 80 pounds. You've had 3 kids since then. Like, you have to find a new normal. Right. And you have to find a new home for your body that feels healthy and feels skinny, or feels healthy. I'm not going to say skinny, because skinny does not equate to healthy.
Okay,
but,
talk about it. Talk about it.
And so you have to find a new sexy.
Sexy, yes.
So how do you get like on the med spa side, how do you get people to accept this is the new you? You can never go back to the old you. The old you didn't have the scars. The old you didn't have life, which is all things we need to appreciate about life. Absolutely. Is like the stretch marks and the scars and the weight gain and the hip spreading and the and the facial changes. Those are all indicators that mean that you're still alive. You got to live.
Exactly. I think that like it really just comes down to those hard conversations. Like, I'm open to talking. I talk. I ask those questions. I say, well, why do you feel like this? What is it about your body? Like, no, just say, well, I don't like the way, No. What is it? You don't like the way your clothes fit? Because what size are you wearing? Are you still trying to get into that too? Yeah. Because that may not be who you are anymore. So I think just really having those tough conversations and really being as transparent as possible with them, and saying like, okay, she was cute, but you still have to fall in love with the process. Yes, work towards what you want, but still fall in love with who you are now, because that within itself is not going to change. And you don't want to, you can spend the rest of your life trying to chase this size or try to chase this look and try to chase the person that you used to be. And then you wasted away years of your life. Yeah. So let's fall in love with her today. What do you like? Right. And then what you don't like, what are you going to do to change that?
How can we work with her?
How can we work with her? Because there's something that's something that works. Yes. So it's having those tough conversations. Like, we really create a safe space for people to really be able to be as transparent as possible, but then in the same token, like, be open to receiving information. Because sometimes I think we have to take accountability. You say, okay, I don't like the way these jeans fit, but like, what did you eat for breakfast? Right.
And it's just kind of like, getting used to loving yourself at every phase. And that goes back to loving yourself is like, I had this talk with my granny, and my granny has always had like beautiful jet black hair, and she is like grayed up now. She ain't even that old. She's grayed up. And so I was like, oh, when are you going to dye your hair again? And she was like, no, I'm old and I love it here. Yeah. So she's been rocking the gray fox look, and I'm like, hey, like, she's accepted this phase for so long. She was dyeing it and she was covering it up with the rinses and stuff. And now she's like, you know what? This is where I'm at in my life. I love it. So this is
That's
gonna have to work.
wisdom. That's wisdom. Let's be honest. People don't live to be grannies. So
literally.
shout out to Granny.
Shout out to Granny, man.
Shout out to Granny. I love that.
But you do have, your older women who, who are pursuing the younger look, which I can respect too. I can respect a good woman getting her groove back. Like,
I love it.
One of the big transitions that I want to talk about is Nene Leakes. What has she had done, girl? I can't tell by the naked eye. What med spa eyes? She looks better than she ever has, but I don't know who that is. What did she have done?
So, and this is just off of memory. Like, Nene, please. I love you. I do.
But you need to share your secrets. Like, we want to know. It looks great.
Is being taken care of. Nene, you can tell that she's really, you can tell that she's happy. And I don't think you can tell that she's happy. I'll just say that. You can tell she's happy. She's flourishing in her career. I'm sure she's on Ozempic. They all are. I'm sure she's on Ozempic. With her face, you can definitely tell she's had some facial, just some facial fillers, period. With some facial balancing. She's done her jawline. Her jawline is very snatched. It's very defined. Mm-hmm. But you also can, in and out, of course, too, Botox, because, she doesn't move. None of that. It moves. It does not move. It looks great. But another thing too, that you can tell is that she has a really good makeup artist. She has a good makeup artist, and she has a good hairstylist. She's found her look. And I think that she's committed to her look. So she looks good. Because I think, when you find your style, it's your style. So I think that she has some enhancement done from a facial perspective. Like I said, I think she has chin, cheeks, lips, eyebrow, lips, Botox, maybe nose job.
Was a facelift or fillers. I was like, what is that?
And she absolutely could have had a facelift. She absolutely could have. I have not looked that deep into it to actually be able to make that decision. But I know that she's done fillers, period. Yes. Tox routinely, I'm sure. Ozempic, lost weight, yes. But I think that she has found her combo. I think that she has found her combination. I think the look that Nene Leakes has been trying to give for years, I think she's found that combo.
I love seeing women step into that era, and I feel like I'm trying to find that in myself right now. Same. I feel like this is the most comfortable I've been in my own skin. But I feel like there comes but you have to reach that point as a woman. I feel like we go through so many different looks, wardrobes, styles, hairs. And then you're just and then one day you just kind of find your niche a little bit.
I think so.
Oh, I know I like these colors now, and these colors work, and I'm not afraid. I think it comes with confidence now.
Yes, absolutely.
I feel it's now, I'm just starting to wear color. I used to always wear neutrals and blacks, and I came on the show with a green dress, and everybody loved the dress. I got all the feedback on the dress. I'm like, okay, y'all, what about the show? Everybody, that dress though.
They were watching. A win's a win.
Right. A win is a win.
A win is a win. They were watching. They were watching. So,
but I'm insecure me would have never stepped out in a money green dress. I've always been ew. Black. I'm not doing a good job today. I'm going back to my old ways.
She eats though. This is cute. The set you wanted to match with the environment, and it looks good. It looks good. I think that women do. I think that we just because women are we're so much for everyone.
Yeah.
In every aspect. So I think a lot of times when it comes down to what we look like, everyone doesn't have that extra. You have to get up a little bit early, maybe, but I don't think everyone prioritizes that extra 30, 40 minutes to actually put themselves together. So sometimes they have to find the convenience in what they look like, and I think that plays a big role in just what phase you're in. Because as a new mom, if you would have saw me 15 months ago, you would have thought I was homeless.
Girl, I know the struggle. I've seen my homegirls go through it. See my mom go through it again.
It's beautiful. Being a mother is, it's a blessing. It's beautiful. Being a wife is beautiful. It's a beautiful experience. But it's one of those experiences where you have to begin to live out your new norm. What is my new norm? And that comes down to what I look like. What I look like as a mom is not what I looked like as a college student. Nor was it what I look like as a new graduate working in the hospital and coming into different environments. Certain environments, I think certain environments can limit what you look like.
Do you think having a child and being a new mom, how do you think that's impacted how you see yourself in the world and your self-esteem?
So I think that one, it's really boosted my self-esteem. I think I'm still a pretty humble person, I think.
But at the end of the day, you made a baby from scratch.
My body.
From scratch.
Scratch.
Big flex.
that in itself has given me a level of confidence. Like, you cannot tell me anything. I'm raising a child. I've created a child. I've had a child. I went through being pregnant, which comes with so many different things. Like, it's so many different things. So it's made me have so much more confidence. But I feel like it's given me a reason to really show up. It's like you think about, okay, I want my son, or I have a son. I want my son to be able to show up for himself in this matter, and it's like, well, Deja, you have to do the same. So how are you going to show up for yourself? You want him to get up every day and put on these little collar shirts and these little, loafers and different things like that. So it's like, what are you going to do? How are you showing up for yourself? How are you showing up for yourself to represent yourself in this world? I'm raising a Black man. I think that in itself is different. So for me, it's just made me like really step up my game. It's like, okay, if we're going out there on the basketball court, I cannot play basketball. Mom, I'm going to whip his ass in it. I need to be fit enough to at least run up and down the court to be able to really show up and let him know that, like, mommy can do any and everything. And I'm going to at least try to do any and everything. So for him to be able to see that. So I think it's really helped boost my confidence in a lot of ways. And it's really made me a lot more secure too in who I am, because like I'm a mother. Yes, I'm Dajah, but I am a mother. I am a wife. And those are two of the most important titles to me at this point in my life. So it's given me a level of confidence to be able to show up for them. And plus, I tell my husband all the time, I just want to be sexy as fuck. Can I say that?
As you should. Yes.
Okay.
Y'all heard her. She said
sexy as fuck. I do.
One more time for the people in the back.
Sexy as fuck. It's really the goal. Sexy as fuck.
Right. I love that. Like, I feel like there's so many things, girl. Like, just being a woman is just such a job, a full-time job.
It's a job.
We have 1 week to be, and this is something me and my homegirls gripe over every single day. We have 1 week to be normal people. We have PMS week. Ooh. We have period week. We have ovulation week. Oh, wait, and don't forget the luteal phase where you look like a bag of crap. Yes. And your face looks all like, you don't recognize yourself. Yes. And you're like, am I a monster?
Yes. But sometimes yes. Okay, sometimes right? Yes. Sometimes. But then even the emotional side of that, like looking at yourself and like thinking like, okay, I'm going through all of this because I am a woman and I'm experiencing these things, and I still have to go out into the world and show up as this human being.
Right. But then like being a woman, like that innate beauty is just like I can put that stuff on and strut into the world, and I feel like I have a Donald Trump bank account. Ooh. I feel like I have I was going to say Diddy, but not anymore. A Jay-Z bank account.
Trey Lively.
Jay-Z bank account, you feel me? Because I'm like, I'm wearing my worth right now. Like, yes. I'm strutting in the room, and everybody's like, that's your power as a woman. Like, I was at a burlesque show a couple weeks back, and I got hit with a download, and the download was pretty much saying, like, as a woman, we don't have to do anything but show up and be the art. And it doesn't matter how conventionally attractive society says you are. In this burlesque show, you had all types of women of different shapes, sizes. Yes. You had stretch marks. But one common theme is we all paid money to sit there and watch them just be women. Like, they're not dribbling a ball. They're not racing. They're not playing sports. They're not doing anything but showing you this is who I am. And everybody is like, this is entertainment.
I love it. And they're confident in it. They're living in it.
Right.
You're paying to watch them live in it. And that's beautiful. I think that as women, we have so much power. And that's even one thing too, just being in the aesthetic world and actually being a nurse too, is like, I want to be able to kind of restore those things in people as much as I can, be able to help kind of with that confident factor and make them feel more confident in what they're doing and make them want to appear sexy and want to appear youthful, or at least find the youthfulness from the inside, but make it sprinkle a little bit on the outside. I want to be able to show people that. And I think that's being in this field, it allows us to do that. And even as women, it allows us to pour into other women and talk about those things, and really, because sometimes people's love languages are words of affirmation. So maybe you need a sis, you looking good,
right? And
that makes them feel just so much more confident to be able to come out into this world and just really tackle the daily life, but really live, like you said, live. Right. I think we forget that just in the world overall. I think we forget to live.
Right.
And it's crazy.
I just love how we're having this conversation about the light work, which is aesthetic beauty, because we always talk about the dark work, and right. And even not even just like in the male gaze, but even women attack other women. Oh, like the beauty industry and this and that. But it's like for some women, that's empowering.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
being able to spruce up my appearance, just like putting on makeup, just like doing anything. It's like guys get their hair cut. Do we ever call guys self-loathing if they walk around with their hairline all the way down to their eyebrows?
Exactly. Or like what is it? Is it being gay? Being gay?
Yeah. I mean people. People.
But it was on that also. Yes. But nobody talks. But they're
wearing lace front beards.
Yes.
So if they could do that, nobody calls them self-loathing.
And I think that people, a lot of times, I'm learning just even being in the industry, being a woman, just experiencing life, that a lot of times the comments, the things that people say, the comments that they make, it has nothing to do with you. It has 100% everything to do with them.
That part.
It has nothing to do with you. It is not, you're not making or doing anything wrong, because a lot of times, like good aesthetic work, I mean, all tea, no shade. You can't really always identify exactly what it is.
Okay.
Like if I would have never told you that I did semaglutide, you just would have thought like, oh, you're just this naturally 153 pounds. It's like it's woman, you know? So it's like, people want to be vulnerable. They want to have those conversations, but then they get the backlash. But you maybe just mad because you didn't find it.
Right.
Or you can't afford to play the sport.
See, I forgot to tell you about one specific med spa procedure I had done, which slipped my mind because I did this promo with this med spa so long ago.
Yeah.
But so we're gonna play a game a little bit. I can do something new. So we're gonna. I always have like a little tiny game.
I like a good game. Okay.
I always have like a little tiny game with like my guests. I just started doing that.
Okay. But I'm honored to be a part of it.
So if you were to look at me, what procedures would you think I had done?
Oh wow.
I ain't have a lot now, but
Okay,
but what would you think? All right, let me go. Oh my god, I'm such an unserious person.
Okay. Raise your eyebrows. Frown. Okay. What I think is, I think that you could have, or you just naturally have some really nice cheeks. I think you could have opportunity.
On the first try.
I know a little something.
Okay, so when she did it, and the first week I didn't. I've never got anything done. So the first time I went to a med spa, and they gave me like this promotion. Well, they reached out to my Instagram, and they're like, "Hey, do you want a promo?" And I'm like, "Okay, cool." You know, I'm down to try anything.
Yeah.
At least once.
Oh my God, you sound like me.
I'm like, adventure time.
Understood.
So I was like, and they had asked me where I wanted to get, and injections, and I had always very much so envied not envy, that's a crazy word. I was a little salty that I didn't inherit my mom and my grandmother's great cheekbones. Like they had these African cheekbones that are so pronounced. And I have like the low cheekbones, like theirs is like
absolutely.
They have big cute apples, and so I was like that,
yes.
and then she was like, okay, we'll add in like a tox. So I said, okay, lip flip, because I noticed like my lip. I was like, I want my upper lip to freeze. Like I do a lot of crazy stuff with my face.
Come see me, girl.
Right.
We'll chat.
So that is crazy.
Yeah, it looks good though. It looks good, and I think that the med spa did it in a very tasteful way, because, like I said, I noticed it because I just think maybe just looking at it, I don't know. I study this stuff, so I eat, live, sleep, breathe, all this stuff. So I did look at it. But I think they did it in a very tactful way where like your face still looks symmetrical, it still looks 360, still they don't overwhelm your face, but they're a nice feature for you now. You know, they're enhanced, and they look really good. They look almost perfect, and I think that's why I kind of was like, okay, that's might be what it is.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I was just like you were saying, like with like I was saying earlier with your page, I'm like, okay, if I were to see these girls out in the wild, I would not be able to tell anything done, because you do such a subtle job with them.
Thank you.
And so that's like the fine line of like overdoing it, which is everything should be done in moderation, right? And nobody's saying go get all the surgery, filler, toxins that you want, because as liberal as we are on this show, you have to do things in moderation.
Yes, please. And it gives you opportunity. I tell my clients all the time, like, this is a journey. We don't have to jump off the porch, Like, don't get me wrong. Like, if you want to go to, and I'll use the term plastic because I don't think plastic look has always have to be a bad thing. If you want the plastic look, like we can do it, but we're gonna do it tastefully and we're gonna do it slow because no one should look at you and be able to say like this is what you did with it. Besides me, okay? Yeah. No one should be able to look at you and be like, okay, she did this, and this. Like a naked eye, like a non-aesthetic eye, shouldn't just be able to look at you and just kind of point out those things where they see those fillers at. So for me, I also want to give you, though, the opportunity to really fall in love with what's happening. Like, you love your cheekbones, but in the same token, like, that's what you wanted to enhance. So maybe let's start with that. And then if you want to do something else, let's add on that. Let's just really take our time to be, because you've had the same beautiful face for 20 plus years. So the goal is not to just go in and just make you look different, it's to enhance what's going on. And what makes me the most happy, or the happiest, is when my clients say, I ask them, I say, well, how what's the feedback? Like, they come in for 2 weeks. I'm like, what's the feedback? Like, what's the verdict? What do people say? Like, what do you think? I get excited. And they're like, they said I look really, like, I look prettier. That's always my goal. So from that, like, that's always my goal. I want, especially if the goal is to go enhance, I want people to be able to look at you and say, you look prettier. You're glowing. Like, I don't know what you did. Like, did you change your foundation? Like, that's my goal in terms of aesthetics. Like, I want to give you that. And then if you want to go like superstar jawline, or so, we can do that. But we're just going to do it in a very tasteful way. So we could maybe go superstar jawline, but then maybe your lips would be a little bit natural, or maybe not superstar jawline, a lot of natural lips, but maybe your brows would be a little, we could change some things up. Right. So really, I think that the imperfections make us who we are. And I think it's okay. So I think always leaving, that's kind of one of my like little, I guess, tips or tricks, always leaving a little bit of imperfection wherever it may be. Like, some people have dimpling in their chin, so like we can leave that. Or some people may have, one brow maybe a little bit shorter than another. I don't know. You can, there's things that you can do that kind of keeps that level of natural with you, so you don't give like the Barbie plastic or the Bratz plastic. So it's I love it. I love this stuff. It's addicting.
It really is. And it's like, I just love the right to choose of a woman.
Exactly.
Like, if you wanted to go full Lil' Kim, like,
let's do it. Not Little Kim. But
that's a little too. That's
but
a little
if you want to go like
much,
JT, if you want to go like JT, or if you want to go like, I'm all for it.
Right.
Like, I'm all for, like, especially if you're in certain industries, like, you think about it, like, if you're in an industry where you are on the camera all day and it's like, I want something that's going to give me like a little bit of a level of perfection, then we can do that. But we're not going to do it to the point where you'll be overfilled.
So JT, what? Okay. What if she had done? She just has such a beautiful structure that I'm like, I've tried to pick it apart, and I've heard some input on some med nurses, and I'm just like, what?
I think that her injectors have done a phenomenal job. Let me just say that. I do. You can't tell me that she hasn't had anything done. She has. But I think they've done a really, really good job. So for her, she's definitely done her lips. Her lips are done. I mean, she already had naturally nice lips, so they probably just did more so definition, like contouring, maybe like her, Cupid's bow, and maybe adding a little bit of volume for like hydration and different things like that. But she's definitely done that. And then she's done a little chiseling to the jawline too. Like, I think she's added in a little fillers just to kind of give them a little bit more of a sharper look. And I'm sure she's probably had a little bit of cheek, like kind of like definition, or I want to say cheek definition. I'll say like mid-face. I think she's done some mid-face work, only to just like define. Like, I think that it's still her face. It looks just like her. It's just sculpted. It's contoured. It's defined. And she looks very put together. She looks like, it looks symmetrical. She just looks really pretty.
I have yet to seen a better mug than JT.
No,
I have not seen a better mug. Like, just the face. Like, her face is so top tier.
They're doing their thing. I'm a fan. Please, if you are JT's injector, please reach out, because I just want to know. I want to train with you.
I'm like, everyone who looks like, just
no, everyone.
The face is like literally. That's when I think of a perfect face, I think of like JT. And then also Tony from Girlfriends. I don't think she had anything done on the show, but her face is so like, this is how people want to look.
Yeah. I don't know. That's when I will say, like, I don't know. I cannot confident, because I think that she's really that pretty.
Right? I'm like, it's so crazy to believe that.
And I guess I say that too, because like she's a smaller woman, and that's what kind of makes me think, like, look, for instance, right? JT's thick. Yeah. In a beautiful way, but she's thick. So when you're thick, it comes in other places. Yeah. Naturally. Like, there's just something that you just can't always, help with. She's a small woman. And I think that she had a very like tight, just overall appearance. So that's the only reason I say I don't know. And she probably has a bomb skincare routine. She probably has an amazing, just overall like facial process. And she may have tox. Wasn't as new, for that world, especially in Hollywood. But anything else, I don't know. They were doing like facelifts back in the day, though. They were going all out. They were just for sure.
Like, I'm like trying to figure out like, when did it start getting like super normalized? Because I feel like, especially, we live in Houston, so it's now it's younger girls. I feel like are the target audience. When before it was like older women who wanted to look young. Now it's younger women who want to have the achieve a certain look.
I think the Instagram phase of things, like the Instagram, the IG baddie phase of things, or just like the overall like the baddie phase, I think that's when it really became like the younger girls were wanting to do it, because you have these filters who are going to create these naturally big lips. They're going to give you a natural contour. They're going to give you a more defined nose. They're going to do all those things. So I feel like that's when it really became like I want to look like this. And then you have people like our Instagram celebrities who they have the big butts, the big lips, they have that level of sex appeal. And I think that a lot of young girls, especially living in Houston, they want that sexual appeal. A lot of times to the male species, like for the things that come associated with that lifestyle. I don't think it's always about what it necessarily looks like, because trends come and go. Look at Kim Kardashian; she removed her BBL, so kind of, but yeah.
I think she's a pioneer for this stuff too.
She was.
Especially Kylie. I think Kylie inspired it in the young girls.
Yes,
because we were like, oh, so it's okay to start doing it.
No, seriously, and I think it's okay if it's done tastefully. Because the thing about it too is like the more fillers that you do, I'm not gonna say that it's gonna reconstruct your face or make your face look different, because that's not the case. But if you are like overfilling, it's gonna look bad. There's no matter who does it. Like if you
that moderation thing,
that moderation's so important, because if you filled your lips 6 times within the last 2 years, you're gonna have some migration, because the filler has to have somewhere to go. So if the filler has nowhere for you to put it, then like
I do want to touch on this subject, right? I feel like how do they call it? It was something that I used to watch Botched all the time. Okay. And they used to call this, it was a term that they would use when people would get procedures done, and then they get addicted to it. And they're like, wait.
Body dysmorphia.
Body dysmorphia. Yeah. And they called it something... I'll remember it later when I don't need it, but yes, we'll just run with body dysmorphia, because that's like the common one. Yeah. It's like... something, and I've noticed it too when I went bigger with my boobs. I was like, once he showed me them, because he got me to go bigger. At first I wanted 375, and I was like, actually I wanted 350, and then I saw 350. I'm like, okay, we could do 375, but nothing else. Yeah. And he was like 450, and I was like, I don't want to look like a bimbo. Like,
they look good though. They fit.
So he put them on me, and then after they healed, I was like, I'm gonna go a little bigger. Like, now I'm like settled in. I'm like, no. These, once they settled in, now they're the size I want. But at first, before they got to heal and drop a little bit, I was like, they're kind of small. So I feel like you start looking at yourself in like a carnival mirror kind of thing, where it's like I had to remove my brain out of my body and look at the outside looking in. Those are big. Don't go back to that damn plastic surgery office. You said idiot.
Commit, stay. I make people wait. If you're talking to me and you're like, okay, Dajah, like I want this very chiseled jawline, but then in the same token, should I add a cheek? Okay, I'm gonna add a cheek, but do I need to do my lip too? Okay, the nose. Okay, we definitely have to do the nose. We have to do the nose. I will say, okay. Which one, if you had to choose one, what would be, or two? If you had to choose two, what would be the two that you do? And then you tell me that, and I said, okay, you think on the rest of them. Because, and I also will look at it to see, like, if they, I don't want to say they need it, but, like, are they a good candidate for it, too? But I make them wait. Think on it. Because impulse decision is a thing. The same way we impulsively shop. or eat.
Right.
It's the same thing when you're there. You're like, okay, I'm here. Let's just go ahead and do it. It's just like, no, I tell my clients, I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I live in Houston. Like, I'll be here next week if this is where you decide that you want to come back. But I need you to think on it and I can kind of sense or like hence the hesitation that a lot of times when people are not 100% sure. And even though what I'm doing is not necessarily permanent, it's still a process that you have to go through to dissolve. Like everything can be dissolved. Botox is something that you have to let wear off, but there are things that are temporary. It's like a temporary fix. So I tell her that I should just wait. When you're ready, absolutely, I'm game. We can do it. But I'm not going to do it if I feel like you're not ready. I'm not just in the process. I'm not in the business of taking your money, because then when you snap out of this mood, you're going to be like, Dajah, I don't like
what
this.
Did you do?
And we're not even going to do that. You're going to make sure that this is what you want to do. So I make them wait.
It's so important to have, like we said it before, like integrity.
Yes.
Integrity is like a big thing in the beauty industry, because I feel like the beauty industry, just like everything, is competition, right?
Yes.
You have, in the stock world, there's competition. In the finance world, there's competition. The beauty world is no different. You know, the fitness world is no different. You know, you find out about a new workout, not everybody's doing the workout. And I feel like it's like a race, kind of like, okay, I got these done, and then you start looking at stuff. I had to check myself. Like, I'm looking at stuff like, well, maybe if my chin a little bit, like,
and that's
and then it's like,
I promised myself when I first got in the industry, I said, Dajah, you have always felt pretty. You like who you are. You like what you do. Don't take your time with yourself. Don't get in here and start being like, I see that little dimpling on the left side of my nose. Like, take your time. And if it's something that if it's 2 months and it's still bothering you, by all means, you do something about it. But if it's something that's you're just seeing, and you can be seen on a bad day, let's talk about it. You know, we talked about that cycle that women go through. You can be seen on a bad day, like, take your time. And so I've really been slow, like, with procedures. Like, I've had chin filler to kind of help, like, just combat with, like, the double chin, especially from having a baby. I do Botox. I get my Botox done all the time, everywhere. I like it.
It's great.
I love Botox. I'm the biggest fan of Botox. I will give you a liquid lift. You know, you get your wig done and you like, they snatch it back a little bit. Like when you first get that lace front, they be like kind of tugged a little bit, a little facelift. That's what Tox do. I love Tox. And that's kind of the rim I've stayed in though. I did threads. So when I was training in a med spa, I let like the somebody train on me and do the threads. I do not recommend threads for me as a Black woman, but I do think that threads can be done in a very tasteful way. But that's kind of been like my realm of things. And I'm like, I know I'm going to be in the industry for a long time. So eventually maybe things I look and I might say, okay, Dajah, it's time to add a little bit here, or it's time to add a little bit there. But right now I just I take myself slow. Yeah, I promise myself, I said, if you got this goal, you hit this goal, then you do it.
To my naked eye, like, it doesn't appear to be anything done, you know, but how do you keep yourself grounded? Like, besides, you know, we talked about waiting, but how do you keep yourself, especially, I have a compulsive. Once I'm on something, I'm on it. So how do you stop yourself with all the tools in front of you? And you can easily just poke yourself out all day. How do you stop yourself from, you know, being too greedy?
It just depends on... ask myself why. Like, why am I doing this? Like, why do I want it? Do I want it because I saw the way JT's looks? Or do I want it because it's truly like an insecurity that I have that I don't like? Like, and I think that has kind of kept me. And then also, like I said, doing the inner work though. Like the inner work is in like being in love with myself no matter what I look like. Like, know that there's a confidence that has to come from within too. It's not just what I look like on a outer appearance, but it's like, why am I doing it? So a lot of times it's self-control. It's self-control. And then it's hard to focus yourself too. That's just it's a process. It is a process. I've poked myself. I've done certain things like myself, but for the most part, like for certain things that you want to get, especially new things, you do want to outsource those things. So it's more of a process to get them done. And it makes you think, and it hurts. I want to add that in. None of it really feels good. So it's like, how bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? And why? How bad do you want? That's probably what keeps me grounded. Like, it hurts. I want to remain confident in what I look like, with or without it. And, make sure that the happiness is I'm not chasing a look, because every time a new look comes out, like I said, once upon a time, it was the Instagram baddie girls. Now you have the models. Now you have the rappers. Now you have these different, like, what look am I chasing? Am I chasing who Dajah wants to look like, or who Dajah seen on Instagram? And then kind of have to make that decision. And then, if it's something I want to change, I change it. Right. But it's a process. You pay to play.
That's a word, though. That's a word, though.
Yes.
Am I doing it for myself, or am I doing it because I'm trying to emulate somebody that I saw on my screen? Exactly. That's such a great message to leave off on. And I really want you guys to follow Dajah in her med spa. So let us know where we can follow you, where we can... Any projects you're working on?
Absolutely. So, again, I'm Dajah, one of the co-founders of The Health Lounge. Follow us at The Health Lounge on Instagram. Also follow my cosmetic nursing page, where I have a little bit of my personality. And I run the Houston location, and that's Daisy, DAZY .everythingfabulous.co, kind of like my little tagline, because everything is fabulous. And then also follow my business partner. Her name is Jadea Graham. She runs the North Carolina location, and her page is RNnurse_J. Follow us on Instagram.
Thank you so much. Yes. And if you're obsessed with watching surgery videos like I am, if you're a psychopath like me and you just love seeing people get pricked and prodded, like her page is great entertainment, because I be on there like
come get poked.
I like this transformation.
Look, come get strategically and artistically poked. Yes. I have you. I got you.
I loved having you. Thank you so much. And that was this episode of The Healing Hour. Bye.